What's going on, everybody? David here from Bluckers Videos and Toys, and today we have another end of the month comic book haul for the month of September. So, you know the drill. If you've been watching my videos of these things, you know, just usually my monthly pickups, some new ones, some of the same ones, a continuation. But also, I also have a vintage comic book haul too, as well. I did stop at my local game exchange and I picked up a few things, but then I have another stack that I had picked up before I had my knee surgery back in June. So prior to the surgery, I did pick up a few things, but I never did get a chance to get around to showing them. And I actually, to be honest, I've actually forgotten that I was going through all my books and stuff, and there's the stack along with the new stuff that I had picked up. So I figured why not just go ahead and show it all in one video. Anyways, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So we'll do the new stuff, and then we'll end it by showing all the vintage stuff. Alright, so with the continuation of this particular run, we have from Marvel and 20th Century Studios is Predator Black, White, and Blood, issue number 3. Love that cover. Great stuff. And this is new to the edition. Or should I say, this is a new pool. And very happy to have this, because I'm a huge fan of this particular franchise. And so this is from IDW, issue number 1 of Street Sharks. So can't wait to dive into this. Now I do have the cartoon set, and also I do have a couple of vintage, and also have a couple of the retro re-releases of the vintage figures. Now the figures are vintage and re-releases are hard to come by. I mean, they were in demand, so I'm missing quite a few. So I'm needing to see if I can get some more, because I would like to at least have the main characters. You know, side characters are cool and all if I can get them, but I need to complete mainly all these characters you see on the front cover. So it's going to take some time, but I'll get there eventually. Also, continuation from Marvel Comics is issue number 5 of The Thing. So very happy about this. So this is the variant edition. This isn't the regular cover. Also from Marvel Comics, this is issue number 4. This is the New Avengers versus the Kill Illuminati. So that's a pretty sweet looking cover. I don't know what that is. I think this looks like a piece of tape right there. I'll get that out in a second. Alright, so absolutely, this is another issue. This is from continuation from DC, issue number 12, and this is Absolute Batman, Killer Croc. So I did read the first issue, so I need to continue to read the others. Man, that first issue was fire. So if you haven't started this book or series, please do. I recommend it. So I do need to dive into it. So also from Marvel Comics is issue number 8, and this is Eddie Brock Carnage. This is another book I need to start reading. Also, this is a new addition to the pool, and this is from Marvel Comics. This is a red band, and this is issue number 1, and it's The Punisher. So excited to finally have some some new Punisher issues coming in. Like the 90s was like the prime time for me when I collected books. So a lot of the good stories that I missed out on growing up as a kid in the 80s was like all the good stuff. But I did start reading comics like around 91, 92. So the 90s were really big for me, especially when it came to Image and DC and Marvel. So a lot of my stuff that I have in my collection comes from the 90s, and then of course, today's pools. I don't really have anything from the 2000s, like early 2000s, 2010s, because I wasn't in my comic book bag then, so I really don't know a whole lot about any of those series or issues that came from those multiple companies. But here in the 2020s, that's when I really started back into getting into my comic book bag, as well as collecting all the old stuff. Of course, if you've been following my channel, you would know that. But if you're new to the channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe, and catch up on some of these cool shorts that I did on comic book pickups and some videos I did for the end of the month haul. So, that being said, let's continue. So, next up is from Marvel Comics is issue number 8 is the Red Hulk. And for the month of October, issue 9, that's going to be the last issue for this series. I think they went ahead and canceled it for whatever reason. I don't know why. And only thing I'm missing, I think, is issue number 6. So I'm going to have to hunt that down eventually. So I do want to start on that series, but I only read the first issue, but I need to have number 6 if I want to continue it, Also, from Marvel Comics, it's issue 10. It's a continuation of All New Venom. It's Mary Jane, so that's a pretty sweet cover. I really do like that cover. Alright, so also a continuation. This is from DC and Legendary Comics. And this is issue number 4 of the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2. I wouldn't mind getting the McFarlane figures that when they made the Justice League Godzilla versus Kong for the first first series, should I say? But they're so expensive, like $80 or $90 a pop for one kaiju, then a 6-inch figure or a 7-inch figure, and then you get the little page puncher that's like 2.5 inches tall, and then that's about it. And it's like $80. So I would like to eventually get those, but I don't know. But knowing me, I probably will get them eventually. It's around like $50 or so. I could probably pull the trigger on that, but $80, $90, that's a little much. But we'll see though. Also new to the collection is issue number 1. And I was really excited when I found out about this this series being done, because it is a continuation. And what is it? This is issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. It's Spider-Man 94. So basically, essentially, this is a continuation of the animated series, the Spider-Man the animated series. And so we do eventually will find out what happened when Mary Jane went into the void, because that story arc was never finished. So, and I did recently, well, not recently, but I did. I want to say back in 2024, maybe early 2025, I did finish or watch and finish the Spider-Man animated series. So it's still fresh in my head, so when I start reading in these books, I shouldn't have any problem following what the storyline is, where it picks up off as, if I'm saying that correctly. Also, this is another continuation, and this is from Marvel as well. and this is Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe. Now, there's been a lot of good Marvel, or not Marvel, but a lot of good Godzilla comics that are out, and so I gotta be pick and choosy because books can get expensive, especially if we get multiple runs. But since I had to pick and choose, this is probably the best one for me to pick. Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe, stuff like that. I like these crossovers, Some people don't. But I'll have to go back and dive into other books that have been recently released, kind of catch up on that eventually, one day. And last but not least, this is a new pickup for or a new pool for this series. It is also from Marvel and DC. It's issue number 1 of Daredevil and Batman. So I was pretty hyped when I found out this was coming out. So very excited to have this. So looking forward to diving into this here once I get done with that series run. I might even start it a little early. Alright, so that was the pool for the new books. So let's go ahead and dive into the vintage books that I picked up from Game Exchange. So all these came from Game Exchange, from what I remember. They might have came from somewhere else, but for the most part, when I looked through these books, they all came from Game Exchange. So, continuing on with this particular run, I pick them up when I can, when I see them. Still got a ways to go, but here I have issue number 46, this Wizard. So I do want to at least complete the first, maybe, I think, what was it? Issue number 1 was what, 93, I believe, 92, 93. And I want to go all the way to about 97, maybe 98. I want to at least get all that first. As far as anything after that, not too terribly interested, but I probably will go for the rest of them. But towards the end, when it came to about 2000 on, and that's the kind of fell off. So, yeah, it is what it is. But I do want to complete from 93, I believe it was late 92, maybe early 1993, on to about 98 is where I want to actually get all of those first. So, all right. So also continuing with this particular run is issue number 59, Wizard. This is July 96. So now the issue that I'm really looking for, I think I pretty much have everything that I have from my original collection. I think the only one I can remember that I need to get to kind of have back my whole childhood collection, or teenage years collection, however you want to put it, is essentially the cover, the Wizard issue with I don't remember what number it was, but it was the issue with Bart Simpson as Bartman. So I think that's the last one I need as far as all the issues that I had as a teenager that I picked up, from my original collection. And then I'll be caught up on that. All right, so the last one from this particular one from Wizard is issue 31. So this is a really good issue. I've thumbed through this, so this is pretty good. So I did get a request from a friend of mine to do a Wizard collection. So I think I will do that eventually. So be on the lookout for that video. I don't know when that will drop or when I'll be able to do it, but yeah, I'll get it done. So I just want to make sure I have everything in order because I do need to find a long box for it. So that way I can have them in order, and when I do the filming, I can just thumb through it, without having to be all messy with it. If you know what I mean. All right, so that's all the Wizards that I picked up so far. And so on to the vintage books. Now, I forgot to get a bag and board for this. So, but all these, I think, except for maybe one or two, are all Image. You know, it's so. The first one up is issue number 1 of the who was the new Shadowhawk. And so basically, this guy took over when Shadowhawk died. So this is the first issue I got. So I do want to complete this run. All right, I never read that one. I don't think I ever read that series. If I did, I don't remember. Now this is from Marvel Comics, so I did have to pick this up when I saw it. I do want to complete this run, and this is from the 90s. So this is Marvel Comics issue number 1 of Cage. So I do want to start this run. So I never had this book as a kid, you know, when this came out, but I did read it. I had some friends that had it. Alright, so it looks like the rest of these will be Image, and then except for the last one. So we'll get to that when we get to that. So this is issue number 1, because I do have issue number 2 of this particular story. So this is issue number 1 of Wildstorm Rising. So I do have issue 2 of this. This will be issue number 1 of Backlash. So I haven't read this one yet. I remember seeing it, you know, when I was younger, but I never read the story. Alright, so I do have issue number 1 of this, so then I was able to pick up issue number 2 of Grifter. That's a sweet cover. I really do like that cover. It's pretty badass. And then, now when it comes to certain books the Image did, I get confused because I knew that they have like maybe a miniseries and then they do an actual story, like a big long run, and like I think when they did their story arcs they like split it in 2, so there's like 2 different issue number 1s and 2 different issues number 0s for certain books that they did. But so I have to kind of like go back and kind of make sure I divided everything correctly, because I think one time when I went shopping for some of these older books, I got all confused and thinking that I was on the roll, and I got them all separate separate books for different story arcs and stuff. So I forgot they did that, so it kind of threw me off. But now I got everything under control and know what to look for when it comes to certain issues and stuff. So eventually I'll get them all, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. All right, so next up is issue number 0 of Stormwatch. That's a pretty sweet cover. And then I think followed up with that, I believe, I could be wrong because I think I did have this in order when I did this. So this is issue number 1 of Stormwatch. And so I believe... No, I'm not. Maybe it is, because I know that sometimes when they did certain books, they started off late in the one year, at the end of a year, and then the next year they did number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I think might be it. I could be wrong. So, but I believe this is issue number 1 that follows the issue number 0 of this. And then here is another issue number 1 of Stormwatch. So this is like a different story arc compared to this one. So, well, they're both amazing covers, especially that one. Alright, so then here is issue number 1 of Wildstorm. I don't believe I've read that book yet. And then continuing on, here is issue number 1 of Glory. Evangeline. I think that's how you. I think that's what it says. Evangeline. So that's a nice cover right there. It's a Liefeld cover. And then here is the first issue of Brigade. Another Liefeld and Campbell Scott. Not Campbell Scott. Is it Campbell Scott? My apologies if I got the name wrong. So that's a good cover there. And then last but not least, this is from IDW. And this is issue number 1 of Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So we're excited to have this in the collection. So that's an awesome cover. So that is my haul of end of the month haul books, including the vintage stuff that I had picked up prior. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this, these pickups and these continuations and the new issues that I've added to the collection. And don't forget, where's the wisdom? Buy what you love and not what you like, because if you buy what you like, you always end up getting rid of it. And I will catch y'all later.